So everyone's been talking about the new prequel show to Game of Thrones that is supposedly in the works. George R. R. Martin just kind of confirmed it on his blog, kind of didn't confirm it, but he basically confirmed it. And the new prequel is based on the most recent book in George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire universe, Fire and Blood, which is set during the Targaryen dynasty. It's about the first 150 years of the Targaryen dynasty, so it's from Aegon the Conqueror on. And there is actually a lot of really interesting stuff in this book, a lot of really interesting bits of history. It takes place over 150 years, so I would be curious as to what time period they would start it in. I don't know if they would necessarily start it with Aegon, or if they would kind of maybe give like a flashback and start it later on with maybe Jaehaerys, or perhaps even later on during the Dance of the Dragons. Who knows? They really have a lot of options. George R. R. Martin seems very excited about it on his blog. A good friend of his, Ryan Condal, is apparently working with HBO on the show, and he met Ryan years ago, apparently. And there is a script for the show, there is a Bible for the show, and George R. R. Martin thinks that it's excellent. As you guys probably know, I don't really have a lot of faith in HBO, and as I said about the other show that they're working on, The Long Night or Blood Moon, we don't really know exactly what they're gonna call it. I don't know if a lot of people are really interested in another Game of Thrones show so soon. I don't know if rushing into this is necessarily the best choice considering the reaction to the last season. Even if David and Dan are not on it anymore, I think that still Game of Thrones has left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, and I don't know if a year's time is enough to recover, because like all of the rumors are saying now that the Long Night / Blood Moon show is probably premiering sometime in 2020, which seems too soon to me, but I don't know. But back to Fire and Blood, like I said, there's a lot of good material in this book. The source material is always great, but I am going to reserve judgment and excitement until I at least see the pilot, and until I at least get some more information on what exactly the show is going to be focusing on, because like I said, there are a lot of jumping off points. There's a lot of different stuff going on in this book. One of my favorite sections was the voyage of Sir Eustace Hightower through the Sunset Sea. They encounter a kraken, and then we have Alice Westhill, who is sailing across the globe and ending up in a shy. And then we have poor Arya Targaryen, who went to Valyria and got infected with some kind of creature that consumed her from the inside out. And then there is the Witch Queen of Harrenhal, which I thought was a fantastic and spooky story, and we don't know what happened to her, so that would be super interesting. And then there is, of course, a tremendous amount of drama happening between the Targaryen nobles and amongst themselves, and between them and the faith of the Seven. Now, George R. R. Martin also confirmed in the blog that there would be dragons, which also makes me nervous, because even in Game of Thrones, the most expensive show ever, they blew out their budget every season on just showing the dragons. And let's say they start with Aegon the Conqueror. I mean, Balerion the Black Dread is the biggest dragon that's ever lived, and he lived long after Aegon died. So that dragon, they would have to animate Balerion. I mean, I'd love to see it, but I would wonder and kind of worry a little bit for their budget, I guess. Anyway, like I said, it's always cool to hear about something new in the fandom. When the show comes out, I will review the episodes, and hopefully they're good, but like I always say, if they're not, I will definitely be honest about it, and I will give my real opinion. I'm curious to see what they do with it, and I wish them the absolute best with the project. Alright, no need to continue rambling on about it. If you like this channel, hit the like button, subscribe, consider supporting on Patreon. Follow me on Twitter as well. There's always something interesting going on my Twitter.